Hey everyone, Jake here for Extreme Terrain, and in this video I'm taking a look at this front CV axle shaft set fitting 2005 to 2023 Tacomas. If you're using your Tacoma to its fullest extent, or even if you've just got a lot of miles on the clock, you might be in need of some new CV joints. This set is going to give you full bolt-on replacements for your front CV joints and drive axles for less than the price of just one axle from Toyota themselves. On a four-wheel drive truck, the front axles and CV joints can really take a beating. Those axles are putting in a lot of work, especially if you're using four-wheel drive a lot, if you've got a lift kit on your truck, or even if you're just using it to its fullest extent. And if your CV joints start to bind, well, you're gonna have a hard time getting your truck moving or just getting power to the ground. Not to mention the horrible clicking and grinding noise these things make when they go bad. Now what we have here is a fully matched set of new factory-style drive axles with pre-greased CV joints. Now these are made to be exact replacements for your factory bits, meaning that these are going to bolt right in, no modifications needed. Plus, they come exactly as you see them right here on the table. They're pre-lubricated joints plus new boots, and they're ready to mount on the truck to get you rolling smoothly and safely again without any fuss. And they even come with the popper tools included in the kit to help you get started. Now, as you might expect, these are again built to mimic the stuff that came on your truck from the factory. So these are going to be made from the same type of materials as those factory components. You're going to find heat-treated ball tracks covered with brand new moly grease, encased by brand new neoprene boots. And these come assembled exactly as you see them right here on the table and in my hand. You can get a new axle nut up top. This makes the job about as worry-free as it can be for something like this. We'll talk more about that momentarily. Pricing is going to come in at about $350 for the set, making this a really affordable option. And it's going to save you quite a bit of money versus the equivalent parts from Toyota, because just one axle from them is about the same price as this entire kit. So you're sort of getting a buy one get one free sale if you look at it that way. And if you really need to do that update, or you just need to make this part of your maintenance schedule, this is a great way to do it yourself, and save quite a bit of money. Installation will get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and the job should take you around 3 hours to complete. Now these again are going to be a bolt-in replacement that don't require you to modify anything on the truck itself. However, to get to these things, there's quite a bit of disassembly required. Fret not though, this is definitely a job you can tackle at home given the right tools and enough time. So let's head on out to the shop now and we'll walk you through it step by step.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, an air hammer, a rubber mallet, a dead blow hammer, a pry bar, needle nose pliers, a chisel or flathead screwdriver, 10, 12, and 17 millimeter swivel sockets, and 19 and 35 millimeter sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing a pair of CV axles on our Tacoma, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is remove our 2 brake line brackets as well as our sway bar end link. I've got a 10 millimeter bolt, 12 millimeter bolt, and a 17 millimeter nut here. Next we need to get access to our axle nut so we can pull that off. So we're going to have to hammer this cover off. You can grab a chisel and a hammer to get in between that lip there to separate it. If you don't have a chisel but you have an old flathead that you don't care about potentially breaking the tip off of, you can use that as well. Just work your way around. So now grab a pair of needle nose pliers and bend back the cotter pin straight so you can pull that out, and we'll get this cover off. And now grab a 35 millimeter axle socket and take this nut off. Next we're going to come underneath our knuckle and remove these 2 19 millimeter bolts holding that lower ball joint cradle in place. Take a 19 millimeter socket and pull these out. Next we can come down underneath the knuckle and remove these 2 19 millimeter bolts holding in our lower ball joint cradle. Now next we're gonna have to get our axle moving backwards out of the hub so that we can remove it. So I'm gonna use an air hammer for this. You can also use a regular hammer. I would put the nut back on so you don't mushroom the tip here. But with an air hammer, just put it right on the tip just to get it moving. So now we can grab on the bottom of the knuckle and we're gonna pull it off of that lower ball joint. And then this should slip out. If we run into a problem with not enough leverage, you can grab a buddy. So now we just need to remove our axle from the diff here. We have these little notches all the way around our inner joint. So you can take a pry bar and get it on that notch, and then take a hammer and give it a couple smacks. And then you can just rotate it around, hit it from all the different angles until that pops free. I've got a bucket underneath to catch the fluid that comes out. And now that we've got that clip popped out, we can just wiggle it the rest of the way. And slide that out. So now we can grab our new axle and we're just gonna feed it in the way we took the other one out. And then just get your splines lined up and get that moving into your diff, and then we'll hammer it in. And now once you have your splines lined up, just give it a good push to knock it into place. And we've got this fully seated now, so we can move on to our hub side. Now next we can get this into the hub, so you're gonna have to pull forward on the bottom of the knuckle to try to get it angled in there. You might have to spin the axle a little bit left or right to get it to line up with the spline. And then once you have that in there, you can start threading on your axle nut. You got a new one included with these axles. Just push the axle forward so the splines are engaged, and then just run this on as far as you can by hand just to hold it in place for now. Next, we're gonna bolt our lower ball joint cradle back up to the knuckle. Now you wanna start these bolts by hand because you are gonna have to do some wiggling around to get them to line up well. And before you get an impact on all these, just make sure they're threading in real smooth by hand. And then you can throw your impact gun on the other side of that 19mm socket and tighten these down. Now we can start reconnecting all of our brake line brackets as well as our sway bar end link. And now take a 17mm socket to tighten down your end link. And then a 12mm socket for the lower brake line bracket. And then a 10mm socket for the upper. And now take that 35mm axle socket to tighten down your nut, and then we'll grab a torque wrench and torque this down to spec. So now I've got my torque wrench set to 173 foot-pounds. I've got a buddy in the driver's seat holding the brake pedal. He's gonna stomp on that really hard so that I can torque this down. So now we're gonna slide this cap back on. Make sure that you rotate it so that the hole lines up. And then slide that cotter pin through. And then just grab your needle nose pliers. Just bend them back and opposite direction. And then get your cover. And just get that lined up all around. And then you can just take a rubber mallet and smack that into place. So now we need to top off the fluid in our diff. So right next to the axle on the driver's side, we have our fill plug here. So you're gonna take a 10mm Allen socket to remove that. And now you're gonna grab some 75W85 GL5 gear oil. And then just stick it into that fill hole and just keep filling it until you have a steady stream coming out of the fill hole. Now once you have a steady stream coming out, you can reinstall your fill plug. And then throw your ratchet on the other side of it and snug it up.
That's going to wrap it up here for our review and install of the front CV axle shaft set fitting 2005 to 2023 Tacomas. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, for all things Tacoma, be sure to keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.